Joseph Curtis Joe Hennig is an American professional wrestler currently signed to WWE, where he wrestles under the ring name Curtis Axel. He debuted in WWE in 2010, joining the Nexus under the ring name Michael McGillicutty. He had previously wrestled at their developmental territory Florida Championship Wrestling and was part of the second season of WWE NXT. In 2011, Hennig won the WWE Tag Team Championship with David Otunga as a member of the new Nexus. In May 2013, Hennig reignited his career under his current ring name Curtis Axel, paying tribute to his father Mr. Perfect Curt Hennig and his grandfather Larry the Axe Hennig. Shortly after his debut, he won the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Professional wrestling career, World League Wrestling. Hennig made his professional debut on July 13, 2007 in Waterloo, Iowa for World League Wrestling, teaming with Ted DiBiase, Jr. to defeat Inti Moore and Brandon Tatum by disqualification. Hennig later went on a 9-month winning streak in WLW before suffering his first singles loss to Wild Wageism. World Wrestling Entertainment / WWE, Florida Championship Wrestling. On March 31, 2007, Hennig along with his mother, siblings, and his grandfather represented his father Mr. Perfect Curt Hennig at the 2007 WWE Hall of Fame ceremony by accepting the award on his behalf. On the October 26, 2007 episode of SmackDown, Hennig teamed with Steve Fender in a loss to Jesse and Festus. Hennig signed a developmental contract with World Wrestling Entertainment and was assigned to its developmental territory Florida Championship Wrestling. On September 11, 2008, Hennig and Sebastian Slater defeated Nick Nemeth and Gavin Spears to win the Florida Tag Team Championship. On October 30, Hennig and Slater lost the Tag Team Championship to the New Heart Foundation. On November 20, Hennig challenged Sheamus O'Shaughnessy for the FCW Florida Heavyweight Championship, but the match ended in a double disqualification. A rematch was made, but Hennig was again disqualified. Hennig had another chance to win the title on December 11 when he participated in a fatal four-way match for the championship, but Eric Escobar won the match and the title in the process. Hennig defeated Escobar on February 26 at a television taping and won the FCW Florida Heavyweight Championship. On the April 5, 2009 episode of FCW it was announced that Hennig had suffered a serious injury and therefore he had surrendered the Florida Heavyweight Championship. After recovering, Hennig made his return to FCW in late June. Soon afterwards, he formed a tag team with Bret DiBiase known as the Fortunate Sons. On January 14, 2010, the Sons won the FCW Florida Tag Team Championship by defeating the Dude Busters. On March 13, the Fortunate Sons lost the championship to the Uso Brothers. At the April 8 FCW television tapings, Hennig blamed DiBiase for the loss, and in a match at the tapings, the two fought to a double disqualification. At an FCW event on April 29, DiBiase faced Hennig again, but suffered a knee injury during the match, ending their feud. On July 15 Hennig, now using the name Michael McGillicutty, teamed with Cable to win the tag team titles for the fourth time from Los Aviadores. The following day, on July 16, Los Aviadores regained the championship. NXT and the Nexus. Hennig took part in the second season of NXT, using the ring name Michael McGillicutty, with Kofi Kingston as his pro. He made his NXT debut on the June 8 episode, but did not compete in a match. He made his in-ring debut on the following edition of NXT, teaming with Kingston in a tag team match, where they defeated Mark Henry and Lucky Cannon. In the first poll on June 29, McGillicutty was ranked third, behind Cable and Percy Watson. On the July 20 episode of NXT, McGillicutty earned immunity from elimination in the next poll by completing an obstacle course in the fastest time. On the following episode of NXT, he moved up to first place in the second poll. After 6 consecutive victories, McGillicutty suffered his first loss on the August 3 episode of NXT, when he was defeated by The Miz. On August 9 the Rookies appeared in a 6-man tag team match on Raw, in which McGillicutty teamed with Husky Harris and Alex Riley to defeat Lucky Cannon, Cable and Percy Watson. The following night on NXT, his team lost a rematch when McGillicutty was pinned by Cable. In the next poll later that night, McGillicutty relinquished the first-place ranking back to Cable, slipping to second place. In the season finale on August 31, McGillicutty ended the competition in second place, being beaten by Cable. At the end of the show, McGillicutty turned heel by attacking Cable with the other eliminated rookies. In October 2010, at Hell in a Cell, McGillicutty and Husky Harris disguised themselves as fans and interfered during the match between John Cena and Wade Barrett. This allowed Barrett to pin Cena and win the match, forcing Cena to join the Nexus per the pre-match stipulation. McGillicutty's and Harris' identities were revealed on the following day's episode of Raw, though Barrett claimed he had not asked for their help and refused to make them full-time members of the Nexus. The following week, McGillicutty and Harris interfered in a match between Cena and The Miz, costing Cena the match and prompting Barrett to give them the opportunity to win membership in the Nexus. On the October 18 episode of Raw, McGillicutty and Harris were unable to earn a place in the Nexus when they lost to Cena and Randy Orton in a tag team match. Despite this, Barrett confirmed both he and Harris were members on the October 25 episode of Raw. In January 2011, CM Punk took over the Nexus and had each of its members put through an initiation. McGillicutty passed his initiation, a beard down from the rest of the group, and was allowed to remain a member of Nexus, alongside Punk, Harris and Otunga. The following month, Punk was announced as the WrestleMania XXVII opponent for Randy Orton, and as a result, each member of the Nexus was scheduled to face Orton in the month prior to WrestleMania. McGillicutty faced and lost to Orton on the February 28 episode of Raw, and after the match Orton punted McGillicutty in the head. The angle was used to write McGillicutty off television as he was scheduled to be sent back to Florida Championship Wrestling to be repackaged. Despite this, McGillicutty returned on the April 11 episode of Raw with the other new Nexus members, preventing Orton from earning a WWE Championship match. On the May 23 episode of Raw, McGillicutty teamed with fellow Nexus member David Otunga to win the WWE Tag Team Championship from Kane and The Big Show with the help interference from fellow new Nexus members Ryan and Punk. They made their only successful title defense against the Usos on the July 29 edition of SmackDown. After CM Punk left the new Nexus when his WWE contract expired on July 17, Otunga and McGillicutty competed against Santino Marella and Zack Ryder on the August 1 edition of Raw without any Nexus gear or armbands, and with all Nexus logos removed from their Titantron, effectively signaling the end of the new Nexus. On the August 22 episode of Raw, Otunga and McGillicutty lost the Tag Team Championship to Air Boom. After a minor feud with Jerry Lawler, the duo parted ways. Return to NXT. After his dissociation with Otunga, McGillicutty from late 2011 to mid-2013 would largely be confined to wrestling on the WWE Superstars and WWE NXT shows. On the October 20 episode of Superstars, McGillicutty and Drew McIntyre lost a non-title match to the WWE Tag Team Champions Air Boom. In late 2011, McGillicutty and Alex Riley had a series of matches on Superstars which Riley won 2-1. On the February 23, 2012 episode of Superstars, McGillicutty defeated Riley, which would be his last televised win on a non-NXT show until he was repackaged as Curtis Axel in May 2013, resulting in McGillicutty losing more than 20 non-NXT matches in a row, mostly on Superstars but also on WWE Main Event and WWE Saturday Morning Slam. Meanwhile, McGillicutty made his return to NXT, appearing from January 2012 on the fifth season NXT Redemption, but not as a rookie. In late February 2012, McGillicutty mocked Tyson Kidd's lack of wrestling heritage, starting a feud on NXT Redemption. McGillicutty then beat Kidd on the February 29 episode of NXT Redemption. McGillicutty continued to insult Kidd by claiming that Kidd would never be a true heart, and Kidd received a rematch on the March 21 edition of NXT Redemption, where he defeated McGillicutty. Kidd and McGillicutty faced off in a third match on the April 11 episode of NXT, resulting in Kidd triumphant over McGillicutty. McGillicutty then formed an occasional team with Johnny Curtis for the rest of 2012. On the final episode of the fifth season of NXT on June 13, Curtis and McGillicutty lost to the Usos. After the conclusion of NXT Redemption, NXT transitioned into the renamed Florida Championship Wrestling developmental territory. McGillicutty continued appearing on the rebooted WWE NXT, losing to rival Tyson Kidd on the first episode on June 20. McGillicutty then pinned Kidd in a six-man tag match on the July 4 episode. 2 weeks later, McGillicutty and his occasional partner Johnny Curtis defeated Bo Dallas and Derek Bateman. On the August 8 episode of NXT, McGillicutty was inserted into the Gold Rush tournament to crown the first NXT champion, where he defeated Justin Gabriel in the quarter-finals. However, McGillicutty was eliminated in the semi-finals on August 15 when he lost to eventual tournament winner Seth Rollins. On the next episode, Kidd heaped more misery on McGillicutty as he and Gabriel defeated Curtis and McGillicutty, but on the September 12 episode of NXT, McGillicutty gained revenge by defeating Kidd to become the #1 contender to the NXT Championship. On the October 10 episode of NXT, McGillicutty lost the title match to champion Seth Rollins. Then on the November 28 episode of NXT, Curtis finally cashed in his promised tag title shot from winning Season 4 of NXT with McGillicutty as his partner against Team Hell No, but Team Hell No won the match. In 2013, McGillicutty turned face after saving Bo Dallas from a beating at the hands of Primo and Epico. On the next episode, Primo and Epico defeated Dallas and McGillicutty, though Dallas and McGillicutty would gain revenge when they defeated Primo and Epico in the first round of the NXT Tag Team Championship tournament to crown the inaugural champions on the January 30 episode of NXT. On the February 6 episode of NXT, Dallas and McGillicutty were eliminated in the semi-finals when they lost to the Wyatt family. Paul Heyman gained Intercontinental Champion. On the May 20, 2013, episode of Raw, Hennig was repackaged under the ring name Curtis Axel, with Paul Heyman as his new manager. The name is a derivative of his father's first name, Curt, and his grandfather Larry's nickname The Axe. Later that night, Axel wrestled Triple H in his re-debut match, which ended with a victory for Axel via knockout after Triple H suffered concussion-like symptoms and collapsed outside the ring. On the May 24 edition of SmackDown, Axel defeated Sin Cara. Over the next 2 weeks on Raw, Axel scored back-to-back non-title count-out wins over WWE Champion John Cena due to distractions and an interference by Ryback. Axel defeated Chris Jericho with a roll-up after Jericho was distracted by CM Punk's music playing, but was attacked by him following the victory on the June 7 SmackDown. 3 days later on Raw, Axel defeated Triple H twice in one night when during their first match of the night Vince McMahon appeared and ended the match with Triple H losing by disqualification. Moments after, however, Triple H demanded the match be restarted, but, like the first time, McMahon came back and ended the match with a Triple H forfeit, despite Triple H having no such intentions. On June 16 at Payback, Axel defeated Wade Barrett and The Miz in a triple threat match to win the Intercontinental Championship, his first singles title in WWE. Axel's win saw him join his father Mr. Perfect as the only father-son pair to have won the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Axel made his first televised title defense on the following episode of SmackDown, defeating Barrett in a rematch. On the June 24 Raw, Axel saved Paul Heyman's former client CM Punk from an assault by the Primetime Players, at the request of Heyman and to the dismay of Punk. This led to a tag team match the following week on Raw, where Axel won the match for his team after he tagged himself in following Punk delivering the go-to-sleep on Darren Young and pinned him for the victory. Axel suffered his first loss since becoming Heyman's client on the July 8 episode of Raw, when he was pinned by Chris Jericho in a non-title match. 6 days later at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, Axel defeated The Miz to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Axel made another title defense on the following episode of SmackDown, defeating Chris Jericho. Axel then feuded with CM Punk alongside Paul Heyman. Axel was set to team with Heyman in an elimination handicap match against Punk at Night of Champions. During the pay-per-view, Heyman begged Triple H to cancel the match, but Triple H refused, not only confirming the match, but making Axel defend his Intercontinental Championship against Kofi Kingston, who had beaten him twice. Axel would defeat Kingston and retain the title, but he would be eliminated by Punk later in the night, leaving Heyman alone to fight Punk by himself. Ryback would then later interfere in the match by slamming Punk through a table. On the September 30th episode of Raw he was defeated by R-Truth in a non-title match, which gave him a title match at Battleground. On October 6th at Battleground he would defeat R-Truth and successfully retain the Intercontinental Championship. The next night on Raw Axel teamed up with Ryback to face R-Truth and CM Punk. R-Truth picked up the victory for his team, pinning Axel. On the October 11th SmackDown Axel once again retained the Intercontinental Championship against R-Truth. At Hell in a Cell, Axel was scheduled to defend his title against Big E Langston, however the match was cancelled due to Curtis' legitimate hip injury. Axel lost the title to Langston on the November 18th Raw. Axel failed again to regain the Intercontinental Championship in a rematch at Survivor Series against Big E Langston. Axel and Ryback won a non-title match against Cody Rhodes and Goldust, putting them in line for a future WWE Tag Team Championship shot, but they lost their opportunity. On the Elimination Chamber kickoff, Ryback were accompanied to the ring by Larry Hennig. On the March 28 episode of SmackDown, Ryback along with other tag teams attacked the Shield under orders from Kane and were awarded with the WWE Tag Team Championship shot on the WrestleMania XXX pre-show which they lost. On the April 14 episode of Raw, along with 9 other superstars, they attacked the Shield again under orders from Triple H. After Ryback began a winning streak, they earned a tag titles shot on April 28 on Raw, but lost to the Usos again. At Payback, Ryback defeated Cody Rhodes and Goldust. At Money in the Bank, Ryback faced Goldust and Stardust in a losing effort. At Battleground, Axel competed in a 19-man battle royal for the vacant WWE Intercontinental Championship which was won by The Miz. Personal life: Hennig is a third-generation professional wrestler. His grandfather Larry the Axe Hennig and his father Curt Hennig were both professional wrestlers. His sister Amy is also a professional wrestler. He has 2 other siblings who are not wrestlers. Hennig and his wife had a son, Brock, in June 2009. He enjoys ice fishing and fantasy football. He won WWE Magazine's Fantasy Football League for the 2011 NFL season. In wrestling finishing moves, as Curtis Axel, perfect plex adopted from his father, turning heads early 2013. As Michael McGillicutty, McGillicutter. As Joe Hennig, plex adopted from his father. Signature moves: backbreaker, belly-to-back suplex, diving pointed elbow drop, diving crossbody, dropkick, feint clothesline transitioned into a clothesline to the back of the opponent's head, rolling neck snap, sometimes from the second rope adopted from his father, running knee smash to a bent-over opponent, Saito suplex, sliding clothesline. With David Otunga, double-team finishing moves, backbreaker hold/diving elbow drop combination. Double-team signature moves, inverted atomic drop/dropkick combination, running back elbow/body avalanche combination to a cornered opponent. Managers: Paul Heyman, Larry Hennig. Nicknames: The Axeman, Paul Heyman Guy. Entrance themes: We Are One by 12 Stones, This Fire Burns by Killswitch Engage, Death Blow from Video Helper Production Library, All About the Power performed by S. Prem and composed by Jim Johnston, and The Horse He Rode In On by Reluctant Hero, Reborn by CFO Dollar, Meet on the Perfect Table by Jim Johnston. Championships and Accomplishments. Florida Championship Wrestling, FCW Florida Heavyweight Championship, FCW Florida Tag Team Championship a Euro with Gabby Tuft, Heath Miller, Brett DiBiase and Cable. Pro Wrestling Illustrated, PWI Rookie of the Year, PWI Feud of the Year The Nexus vs WWE, PWI Most Hated Wrestler of the Year as part of the Nexus, PWI ranked him number 47 of the top 500 singles wrestlers in the PWI 500 in 2013. World Wrestling Entertainment /WWE, WWE Intercontinental Championship, WWE Tag Team Championship a Euro with David Otunga. References. External links. Curtis Axel's profile on WWE.com, Curtis Axel on Twitter, World League Wrestling profile, Online World of Wrestling profile.